living. A lot of things we practice. It didn't start with us. It started with our forefathers of so many generations past. And it has been in existence ever since then up till now. And such things can hardly be abolished. Even though our present generations do not find those things worthy to talk about or believe in, because we have embraced the Western culture and the Western tradition and religion, so we no longer value our own. We no longer think our own is something else. We believe the Western culture, tradition, and religion is more superior than ours. But all these things that we are about to mention now have been in existence and they are still existing. The only thing is that most of us do not believe in it, but they are in existence. Now, I want us to talk about this calling, this spiritual calling in the African way, in the traditional way. If we are up to 10 people who are spiritually called, about 7 of us are actually called through the traditional way. But I've come to notice that those who are called through the traditional way do not like it, and they find it difficult answering their call. Majority of people who are called through the traditional way prefer to be called through the Western man's way. That's the white man's way, the Western culture. So many of them prefer to be pastors, to be prophets. So many of them prefer to stand in the mount on the pulpit and preach to the people. So many of them prefer to hold the Bible while preaching, but they are not actually called through that way. And that is why we are having a lot of chaos in the house of God. So many people whom we see as pastors are not actually called to be pastors. So many people who we see as reverend fathers are not actually called to be reverend fathers. They decided to answer those calls like pastors and reverend fathers because they are born into Christian homes and because they do not want people to think that they have deviated from Christianity to something else. Most of them are actually called through the traditional way, but they have chosen not to answer their call through the traditional way. Instead, they will join the church. They will answer their call in the church way, and they will see themselves as pastors and as reverend fathers. And that is where we are having problems. And that is why you will see someone who is a reverend father, but then he knows everything about tradition. If you are sick, he can mix leaves together for you to take, and when you take it, you get better. If he appears in any occasion, he will prefer to do everything traditionally instead of him doing it like a reverend father. These are the people who are actually called through the traditional way, but they decided to answer their call through the church way. And I know a lot of young men who are actually called to be native doctors, but they decided to be pastors. And I know a few of them who decided to be pastors, but they were having a lot of problems. The problems bigger than them was so much that they couldn't handle it. And that is why you will see a pastor suffering, passing through difficulties, having so many encounters with the demon, but will still find it difficult to defeat the demon. Will find it difficult to solve his problem. Will find it difficult to help somebody else through prayers. This is because he actually didn't answer his call the right way. He wasn't called to be a pastor. He is actually called to be a native doctor. But because of the society we live in, because he doesn't want people to see him as someone who has deviated from Christianity, he will join the congregation of pastors to become a pastor. And these people, no matter how long they be in church, they will still find it difficult to solve their problems. Not to talk of solving another person's problem, because they are not called through that church way. They were actually called through the traditional way to become native doctors. I have seen a lot of these people. And as long as you have chosen to remain where you are, to become a pastor, you refuse to answer your call through the traditional way, you will still remain like that. No matter what you are passing through, you will not be able to solve that problem. I have seen so many people who are like that, who are called to be native doctors, but they have chosen to become pastors. And these are the pastors that will keep on. I'm not trying to make mockery of them, but I'm telling you the reality. They will keep on begging their members, pleading with their members. Even money for food, they will plead for their members to donate. Even the money to clothes, they will plead with their members to donate. For whatever they want to do in life, they will plead with their members to donate. If the members do not donate, they won't have anything doing. They will find it difficult getting anything. But if they decide to answer their call through the traditional way, you will see how that door of progress will open up for them, because they're going to see the problems facing them, and they are going to see the solutions to this problem, and they will be the ones to solve their problems. And when they solve these problems, that door of progress will open up for them. But because we have already been brainwashed, or should I say because of so many of us who are born into Christian homes, we've already been taught right from childhood that Christianity remains the ultimate, that every other religion doesn't count. And so when people are called through the traditional way, they will not want to answer it. They all believe, the mentality we have is that every native doctor is evil, forgetting that there are so many men of God in the church who are more evil than the native doctors. But we do not see that evil in them, because we are inside the house of God. We believe that they are all saints. Meanwhile, they are not. The mentality we have that the native doctors are evil has caused a lot of people not to answer their call traditionally. That a native doctor is evil doesn't mean that all native doctors are evil. There are so many native doctors who are called to be healers. They heal using roots, herbs, and leaves. That is their job. There are so many doctors who are called to be to make amends, to mend homes, to mend broken homes. They have so many duties, and yes, there are others who are out there to destroy. Whatever it is that will make you happy, they will destroy it. The way we have it in the traditional way is equally the same way we have it in the church way. If you are called to be a native doctor and you have chosen to become a pastor, I bet you there are problems you cannot solve. No matter how long you pray. You can become a pastor for 20 years, but your family will still be finding it difficult to have a complete 3 square meal in a day. You can become a pastor for 10 years, but your children will find it so difficult to achieve whatever they want to achieve in life. The reason is because you didn't answer your call the actual way you were called. Before the arrival of Christians, before we adopted Christianity as our religion, how was our ancestors living? Yes, so many of them worship deities, but so many of them are actually the best in life. They were actually the best more than our generation now. We are covering a lot of immorality, a lot of sin, a lot of atrocity with the name Christian. We are covering so many evil things under the umbrella of Christianity. If you are called the traditional way to be a native doctor, it is left for you to know if you are going to use your office to glorify God or to use your office to work for the devil. The choice is yours. Nobody is going to tell you what to do. The choice is yours. If you are called to be a native doctor, there is a reason why you are called to be a native doctor. It is not just to be a native. There must be a reason, either to be a healer or another thing. So it is left for you to know if you are going to use that your calling to glorify God or the devil. But majority who are called this way didn't answer their call, has refused to answer their call, have decided to run away from their call. And if you know any of those people, please, I want you to check that person's life. You are going to see that everything is turning upside down for that person. It's just a topsy-turvy for that person. The person will keep on running around the circles, will find it difficult to achieve anything in life because you didn't answer it the actual way. So this is one of the things we overlook in our society as Africans that we are. Tonight, I say that our topic is based on African spirituality. I am not talking about the white man's spirituality. I'm talking about the African spirituality. The things we overlook, the things which has been in existence before our forefathers were born. But because we have adopted a new tradition, we have decided to do away with these ones, believing that they are evil. And no matter how we try to push them away, they will keep on coming back because they have been there and it will be so difficult to remove them. Now, another thing I want us to talk about, there is this particular set of people, which is a spiritual issue. We always have these people around us. Every now and then, wherever you go, you will see them. And to us, their behavior is normal. Sometimes we call it frustration. Sometimes we call it they are passing through stress. I am talking about these people we call sadists. That someone is a sadist. This man is a sadist. This woman is a sadist. You will never find that person laughing. You will never find that person smiling. That person can never be happy, not even for 2 minutes. They are always sad. They are always angry. There is nothing you can do to please them on earth. This is a spiritual issue. You see all these people we call sadists. That is because what they passed through in life has turned them into becoming sadists. No, it's not what they passed through in life. These people are actually not born to live long. But for one reason or another, they have lived longer than they were supposed to live. And out of anger, it has actually angered them. I want to let you know of this. These people spiritually are not actually born to live long. These sadists. The Western culture made it to look nice and to sound beautiful and calm. But it is not the way it sounds. These sadists are actually not born to live long here on earth. They have a mission. And they must accomplish their mission before they leave. But whereby they encounter a higher power, a more superior power, stronger than them, and if that power happens to defeat them, they can no longer go by that time that they have already mapped out. They will now stay. And because they are staying out of their own accord, it is not what they want, but they do not have any choice. It angers them. And that is why they are always sad. A sadist is not because people paint the picture white, but the picture is actually not white. It is not because of what they have passed through in life. It is not because of what people are doing to them. No. Spiritually, they are not born to live long. But majority of them are coming from a very powerful lineage. If you are a sadist in life and you happen to come from a lineage of native doctors, a lineage of priests, a lineage of spiritualists, the power surrounding your environment, the power surrounding that family, that lineage, will not allow you to go on time as you have already mapped out to. You will not go on time. Those powers will keep you down against your will because they actually mean well for you. And because these people are actually kept against their will, that is why they turned out to be sadists. And these people actually need spiritual help. It is not by counseling. There is no amount of counseling you will give to them that can change them. It's a spiritual problem. They actually need spiritual help. In the church way, they need deliverance. Yes, that is what they need. They actually need deliverance. But it's quite unfortunate that we have these people in adults. They are actually adults, and you cannot force an adult to accept what he or she doesn't want to accept. You can't force an adult to go to church for deliverance, or you can't force an adult to go to a native doctor for he or she to be delivered from that demon that has held him or held her captive. We have them in adults. You can hardly see them in children. But it is in them right from the time that they were small. But these demons, these spirits, once they possess you, as you grow, that spirit grows. As you get older, that spirit gets older until you are delivered. And if you are not delivered, that spirit will now be acting according to your age, and they are more powerful than humans. So if you have anybody who is a sadist around you, it is not by talking to that person. It is not by counseling. It is not by trying to be nice. You trying to be nice to a sadist, you are actually turning that sadist. You are actually causing more harm than good. They need deliverance. They need to be set free from that spirit that is holding them captive. Now I want us to talk about this problem. A lot of people are aware of this problem, but because of our present generation, we have waved it aside. We believe it no longer exists. It existed in the past, and it doesn't exist, but it's actually still existing. In English, people call them born to die. And in African language, or how do I put it? I don't know which language has this. We call it Obanje. The Obanjes are actually not born to, like, they can die as babies. They can die as toddlers. They can die as adults. Obanje is a demonic spirit that has come actually to cause pains and tears for a particular family. Anyone born as an Obanje, they always have a mission. Our generation, some of us do not know about this anymore. Majority of us no longer believe in this. We have waved it aside because we now embrace church. But all these problems still exist. And I want to teach you how to identify an Obanje. You already know the major one. You can identify one who is an Obanje. You can see a woman give birth to a child, and the child will die a day after. And the woman will take in again, give birth to another child. The child will still die a day after. The woman will take in again, give birth to another child. The child will still die a day after. If you have experienced this, please, it is better for you to find out what the problem is. Find out what that problem is. Because if you don't find the problem, if you don't solve that problem, you will keep on having, this issue. You will keep on giving birth to children, and these children still dying, some at birth, some a day after, some 2 days after. You will keep on experiencing this. It's never a good experience. Now, there is something else I want us to be on the lookout for. There are these children we have. Every parent loves this type of children. We call them genius. They are very sharp. My child is so sharp. A child of 2 years can read a book of an adult. A child of 3 years can read a novel of an adult. My child is so sharp. My child, who is 7 years old, is now in JS2. And you are rejoicing, the mother, the father, you are rejoicing. Your child is brilliant. Your child is brainy. Your child is sharp. At the age of 14, your child is already in year 1 in the university. At the age of 17, your child has graduated from the university, and you are clapping for that child. You are actually not doing good to that child. These children do not last long at all. We call them genius. The white men call them genius. Yes, they actually came to achieve that which will take others like 60 years to achieve. They actually came to achieve theirs under 20 years. And the moment they clock that 20, or any age that they have already agreed, they will leave. And they are going to live in a natural way so that you will never suspect anything. It's either they get sick and the sickness becomes so severe, you keep on running from one hospital to another. Before you know it, they give up. That is their mission. They have actually accomplished their mission. That is what they signed. Your child is 14 years old, and your child can now debate with professors in university, and your child is making more sense than professors, and you are clapping for your child. You are actually encouraging that child to leave this world on time. All these people, all these children are born never to get old. Everything that will take a man 70 years of that man's life to achieve, they are going to achieve that and more under 15, 20, 25 years. And everybody loves this kind of children. Everybody loves this kind of children. But the moment you realize that your child is behaving this way, a child is no longer a child. A child doesn't behave like a child anymore. When your child is talking, it seems as if an adult is talking. And the child is actually making sense more than adults. And instead of that child being with other children, playing with other children, according to his or her age, no, the child will not do that. This type of children, they always prefer to stay alone because they have their brains to work with. They're actually doing something more important. And all these things, they're always doing it in a hurry, in a haste, so that they will meet up with that time and leave. If you have any child like this in your house right now, please, that child needs to be relieved from that spirit. That child needs to be separated from that spirit. Our forefathers are always aware of this. When they notice that in any of their children, they go through the traditional way, through the native doctors, to stop that spirit in that child from achieving the aim. But our generation, we don't see it as anything anymore. When we have them, we call them genius. We love them. Wherever you go, you take that child, and the child will go with you and will impress you, and you will love the child. And if they want to leave, if his sickness is going to be just a very little sickness, maybe he or she complained of headache for 2 days. Before you know it, the child is gone. Or complained of stomach ache for just 30 minutes. Before you know it, the child is gone. He or she has actually accomplished his mission. There is nothing more left, and then they will leave. So let's open our eyes, monitor our environment, monitor our lives, monitor our families, and know when to help anybody. Instead of clapping for people every now and then, believing that all is well, meanwhile all is not well. All these things are amongst the African spirituality that we are talking about. The white man will not understand it, even though it still happens to them, but they don't see it as a spiritual issue. They don't see it as a spiritual issue. Your child will become a professor at the age of 20 years and you are so happy. And I want you to watch that child and see if that child will get to 30 years. That child will not get to 30 years. Along the line, the child will leave. And you will cry, and that's it. So we have to monitor our children spiritually. Monitor your children spiritually. Monitor them spiritually. Not just physically. Monitor your children spiritually. If you're a parent, there is a way you can monitor your child spiritually. Always take a closer look at them, and you will discover something different from your child. Now, another one I want us to talk about, which I know a lot of Christians will never, ever, ever, ever accept, is reincarnation. Reincarnation is an African spirituality. Yes, people will tell you that it's not written in the Bible, that the Bible doesn't support reincarnation. It's written nowhere in the Bible. But is reincarnation existing? It's actually existing. It is existing. The problem is we don't care. We don't want to know. But some of us are actually passing through the problem of this reincarnation of a thing. We don't want to know, we don't care, and because it's not written anywhere in the Bible, we believe that it is not good. Reincarnation is an African spirituality. And for those who will tell me that the Bible didn't support it, I will want you to read history. You know, before you talk about anything, you read, you research about that thing you want to talk about. I've actually researched about reincarnation, and I have come to notice that reincarnation was existing. Reincarnation was actually existing before the invention of Christianity, or should I say before the coming of Christianity. It was in the year 543 AD that the emperor of that time, Emperor Justinian of the Roman Empire, decided to remove reincarnation from Bible. I want you to go and research this. Reincarnation initially was in the Bible, but it was during that 543 AD that the Roman Empire of that time decided to remove reincarnation. And what was the reason? According to history, his reasons for removing reincarnation is so that people who claim to have been reincarnated will not see themselves as more superior than the emperor, so that they will not challenge anything that the emperor says, so that they will not, become too difficult to govern. And that is why that Emperor Justinian, that was why he removed reincarnation from Bible. So I want you to go and do your research very well. But him removing the reincarnation from Bible, does that make reincarnation not to exist? No. According to history, he removed that in the year 543 AD. In what year are we now? We are in the year 2023. And a lot of people are still talking about reincarnation. That is to tell you that reincarnation is a spiritual something. It is actually a spiritual issue. And in Africa, in Igbo land in particular, in Nigeria, we Igbos believe in reincarnation. We believe in reincarnation. Yes, the Igbos believe in reincarnation, and it's actually working for some of us, in as much as a lot of people do not believe in it. Now, my reason for bringing up this topic of reincarnation is because of some of the things that are actually happening in our world, in our communities, wherever we find ourselves. People do not believe in it, but it's real. A lot of people who believe in reincarnation, or who were reincarnated, who were somebody else like in a former life and were reincarnated, when you come into this present generation, before someone comes in as a reincarnation of somebody else, there must be a reason. There must be something that you want to remove from your life, or you want to add in your life. And you notice that so many people are actually not doing things the way they are supposed to do it because of this problem. You are now in the present generation. You are now in the present generation. And you think you can do anything you want. You think you can get whatever you want, go wherever you want. Meanwhile, according to that reincarnation, the person who reincarnated you maybe made an oath never to do this again, never to try this again. We'll never go this place again. We'll never go there again. And you of this present generation, you are now trying to do all those things. And you will still find yourself very difficult to do those things. No matter how hard you try, you will not be able to accomplish that thing. You will not get there. And we see it as we don't have luck. It is not about luck. It is about what has already been said. The person has already made the statement. Both heaven and earth heard him. The spirits heard him or her. And now in your present generation, you think you can achieve that thing. Meanwhile, the person has already concluded that he or she will never try that. And you are trying it in your present generation. Have you achieved that? There is something that some of us, majority of us, has been trying. If not for the past 10 years, for the past 20 years, something we are trying to achieve, but we have never achieved it. Have you ever asked questions? Why haven't you achieved that? Have you ever asked questions? People will tell you that you are not working hard enough. It is not all about working hard. It's all about your destiny. It is all about your destiny. You are not destined to achieve that. And that is where reincarnation steps in. You are doing your best as a human being, trying to see how possible it will be for you to achieve that. But you are actually not achieving it, because you are not destined to achieve that. And that is where reincarnation comes in. A lot of people will argue about this. Yes, a lot of people will argue about this, but it is real. Whether we believe it or not, it is real. Check yourself very well. There is something that has been troubling you, something that you have been trying to achieve, or somebody who is trying to travel outside the country. For the past 10 years, you are always visiting the embassy, and they keep on rejecting giving you visa. And you have never asked yourself why. It's always that I didn't get this paper. They said that I should get this paper. They said that I should get this ID. There must be an excuse for them to refuse giving you visa. Even if you get all those documents ready and complete, they will still deny you that visa. And you have never asked yourself why. For 10 years, for 20 years, you are visiting the embassy. Why? Because maybe you are not destined to travel. And that is where reincarnation steps in. You are not destined to travel, but you don't want to believe it. And you see somebody who is trying to travel. When you wake up one morning, you're already 70 years. Where are you traveling to? The earlier we realize that African spirituality exists, the better for us. We are Africans, but we do not want to believe in that. But we want to believe in another man's religion. I am not condemning any religion, but if you are an African, you need to free yourself from mental slavery, because this is now mental slavery. Yes, we were once slaves. Our ancestors were once slaves, but that one was physical slavery. This time around, we are being enslaved mentally. So you have to free yourself from that mental slavery. We have African spirituality. As Africans, it will remain. No matter what we do, no matter how we try to remove it, it will still remain with us. And it will keep on rolling from generation to generation, because there is no, I didn't see anything wrong in all this African spirituality. I didn't see anything wrong, except when someone has deviated and you have decided to worship another God instead of the Almighty God. And let me tell us, nobody is God. None of us. You are not God and I am not God. That's God. On the day of judgment, he knows what he will judge us with. He knows how to judge us. And that's why he said that we should leave the judgment for him. That judgment belongs to him. So many Christians believe that every religion is bad. So are you trying to tell me that it is only Christians that will make heaven? Are you trying to tell me that it is only the Christians that will make heaven? You condemn every spirituality, you condemn every religion because you're a Christian. What about the Muslims? What about the Hindus? What about them? Are you trying to say that they will not make heaven because they do not believe in your religion? That is why God remains the ultimate judge. He's going to judge us differently, in different ways. And nobody knows the way that he will judge. So whether you believe it or not, if you are an African, there is something like an African spirituality. There is something like tradition. Tradition can never be abolished. It can never be abolished. If you like, go to Cambridge, study, beautiful. But if you're an African, there is something like tradition and it can never be abolished. So I would like you